Yes, it was. I'm not going to try to, we'll try to do this a different way. Let's see, what time is it? It is 7:02. We're just still finishing up here, setting up. Let me just adjust our camera a little bit in the room.
Okay.
Ceiling looks wonderful, or it did.
You look good. You're coming through very strong. Even though you're 50 miles away, you look pretty good. You look right here for me.
Well, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Richmond for the week, so.
Yeah, I'm
Which
home
is,
nursing
you know,
a bad shoulder.
It's not so far that I don't have to. I could have come down, but you know, it's a long way there and back. So.
As long as your presence is here.
Trish is up in Europe. Where are you, Trish? You're up in North Bay?
No, it's
or
Richmond. Richmond, yeah, right off of 23rd, like between 23rd and San Pablo, if anybody knows it. My kids are up here.
Yeah.
I'm helping out with grandkid duty for the week.
Good for you.
Okay, I'm gonna get up. We're gonna get started here. Bear with me, guys. Welcome. Let me just get up a document to share. See if I can find anything. I had it all set up before I left the house. And then now I can't find it.
Okay, let's see if we're approaching a quorum.
Yeah, the one thing is we all we can see here in terms of the meeting hall is a bunch of empty chairs. What's the status of people there or not there?
Yeah, you want them to dance?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, singing too is fine.
Okay, well, we're going to bring up a document then. Let's see. Before we get started, we may not have quorum. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the room. Oh, we do have quorum.
Do we
right.
have
and then
Ellis
Ramona
and Alan
and
in the
Bev.
back?
Yeah, so I think we have quorum. I think it's about 8 or so to get quorum. Isn't that correct? 10?
Is it?
Oh, okay, so let's count again.
10%.
6. That's 7, 8,
Unless
9.
somebody says quorum call.
It's typically 10.
Typically 10. We have that situation at the CDC on Sunday, and they haven't got a quorum. And I was certain that we didn't pull a proposal in front of the floor, that it would be quorum call.
Okay.
And the one making that, John Burton.
Okay. Well, we don't necessarily have quorum to vote, but we can definitely start our meeting as folks join. Yeah. So if we could go ahead and call this meeting to order. And as we have done in the past, instead of the Pledge of Allegiance, we are going to recite the preamble. And would anybody like to lead the preamble tonight? Have it memorized?
Jackie, if you have more than one person read it.
Right. So I will just, I'll tell you what, I will just read it. Let me just, I have it here. I do know it, but just in case. Okay. So I will recite the preamble and then we will get started. We, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty, to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I know everybody is probably pretty tired. Richard, I think, was sick. He shouldn't even be here, but he brought himself here. Thank you. I know everybody was out this weekend. We were out last weekend. We were out the weekend before, and Father's Day and everything else. Hello, Manam. We have quorum. So I know it's been hard. I know it's been a lot of work. It's been trying times. I want to thank our host for having us, Caleb Matheny. Where are you, Caleb? Caleb is the training director for the Plasterers and Cement Mason. Local 300 is out of this building. I want to thank them for having us here. This wasn't the only time they've had us here. This is the second time they've hosted us. They are in the corner of Santa Rita Road and Stoneridge. If you're in this office, you'll see some of the beautiful work that they do. It's all on display on the walls. So thank you for having us. My opening statements, I had to take some notes because there is so much going on. I pasted my resolution in the wrong place. Between what's going on with ICE, the raids, this ridiculous show of our military, or the use of our military as props, you know, having that in a split screen with the violence going on, and then now the political violence. It's very scary times. As you know, there was a state senator murdered, and his wife, or her husband, excuse me, a state legislature and her husband, as well as a state senator. And geez, I'm sorry, I lost my notes here, but these are difficult times. I don't know really how to address it. Maybe, you know what? I'm going to have Ellis come up and say a few words, because I know you were so good at this. And I lost my page with all my opening statements. So I would like you to get up and sit right here and make a couple statements about the state of what we're going through right now.
But Jackie is there. In a democracy, the government protects and empowers everyone.
Hard to hear. Alice, very hard to hear online.
Where's the microphone? Am I on now?
Yeah,
Better.
that's audible. You're good.
Okay, I'll start again. It's only a sentence. In a democracy, the government protects and empowers everyone, while fascism threatens and controls for the benefit of a few. Fascists believe in a master race and non-master races of inferiors. They believe they are the fittest race, and they believe in survival of the fittest. The fascists make it difficult for the most vulnerable to survive by denying health care, social safety nets, legal processes and protections, special educational needs, food for food banks, USAID, food and medicine, safe food and safe medicine, sound health advice. Next, the fascists make survival
unaffordable for those at the bottom of the economic ladder, and less affordable for the rest of us, while making life less safe by denying science-based regulations and thwarting education and opportunities at every level. Fascists also do not believe in democracy. They want an authoritarian controlled police state. In order to justify a police state, the civil war is being incited by ICE kidnappers attacking minority communities. Once the shooting starts, martial law will be declared and legalized by this Congress. Martial law is authoritarian rule. The authoritarians are the billionaires influencing the current administration. The fascist means of police control will be artificial intelligence, deciding what the government does and lets us do. AI will replace the human decision-making currently employed by the government and make unethical, unemotional decisions based on algorithms. Department of DOJ has broken the system's infrastructure and stolen the data files they need to replace the infrastructure, and with an AI-based algorithmic government. The AI algorithms will be written to favor and protect the rich while letting those not rich enough to do without. AI will be used to quash dissent, monitoring what we do and say, and punishing political opposition. The reason I wrote this is that we seem to play a game where if we were playing basketball, we want to shoot hoop, and the other team wants to punch us in the face. It's not a fair game. My friend Alan in the back used to play guns with his brother. His brother had a pellet gun. He had a cap gun. You can see what the outcome is going to be. We have to confront the Republicans, and we have to confront MAGA and call them out for what they are and what they're planning on doing. Nothing less. We can't make this a bunch of tiny skirmishes. We have to stand united. This week, I watched a short video. It was about 20 minutes of Eric Swalwell being interviewed by Mark Elias. I put it up on my Facebook page. And what Eric pointed out is that our government is like a table with four legs: the executive, the legislative, the judicial, and the people. Right now, that executive leg is totally broken. It doesn't support us. It is going against the Constitution. The legislative seems fairly powerless, but it stands. The judicial, although they rule against Trump, he just spits in their face and ignores their ruling. The strongest leg is us. We're 5,000 out in Dublin this week, and 2 million, maybe 5 million out across the country. And we're the only thing standing between the fascism that I described and democracy. We have to stand up for democracy. Unfortunately, we didn't get a big turnout for this meeting, but there was this huge turnout in Dublin, and I know that Indivisible and Kyoko, God bless her, was able to turn out a huge number of people. And we're ready in the Tri-Valley to defend democracy. And I was proud to be there, and they even made a Trump doll to have in the back. but we'll put on the screen in a moment.
Grab one of these back.
Okay.
And I did find my notes here. The assassination of Democratic Minnesota State Legislature Melissa Hortman and her husband, and the shooting of another lawmaker, Senator John Hoffman, and his wife at their home are just the latest addition to a long, unsettling roll call of political violence in the United States. In the past 2 months alone, the killing of 2 Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, the firebombing of a Colorado march calling for the release of Israeli hostages, and the firebombing of the official residence of Pennsylvania governor on a Jewish holiday while he and his family were inside. America's split screen. Thousands protest while the wannabe king watches his birthday parade as the Middle East is in full-blown war. And he actually left the G7 early. He could have been there negotiating and working with our allies. But I don't think he wants to work with our allies. I think he wants to work with Putin. So, you know, it's a terrifying message. It's terrifying what's going on right now. And this same week, a really, really bad bill may pass. It's going to, if it passes, it would increase ICE detention budget by 13 times. It would fund 10,000 new ICE agents, provide bonuses for ICE agents, make ICE the highest funded law enforcement agency in the federal government. So this week, I'd like everybody to tell their Congress no, 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 no. So that is my opening statement. Now we're gonna, yes, Dan.
Can you mention as a follow-up to the protests across the country? There's now a new website which is called nokings.org, and if you go to nokings.org/next, you'll find out what actions you can take in contacting your congressmen, senators, and any other types of actions that would be advantageous to moving this forward.
Thank you. Thank you. I will definitely get that out to all of our members tomorrow. Beautiful. And the No Kings, I heard the number today, somewhere around 5 million, they estimate. Across 20 countries. 5 million
Cities, not a
countries.
whole country.
Individual protests across 20 countries.
Unbelievable. Okay. The next agenda item, I wanted to talk about the state convention. The California Democratic Party held their state convention in Anaheim, May 30th through June 1st. Seems like eons ago, but it did just happen. I wanted to give an opportunity from some of our delegates who are here, who attended the convention, to speak to you about their experience, what they liked, what they disliked, what they learned, what they didn't learn. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Isabel, who this is your first convention. And if you'd like, you can come up here so they can see you on camera. Sorry, guys. All this work today, and I left my iPhone at home.
Or we looking at the Constitution.
Pardon?
The Zoom screen, is that being recorded with all the members?
What happened to it?
That's AI. It's got a mind of its own.
I must have moved it to see my agenda. I was trying to find my agenda. Sorry about that. So
I just
here's,
speak here.
yeah, I think they should be say testing 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Hi, my name is Sis.
On it because the picture didn't show up.
Hi. Oh. I see it.
Yes, we can hear you well. That's good.
Okay. So,
To in you. There you go.
okay.
Now we can see you.
Hi, I'm Isabel Gomez, and yeah, as Jackie said, this was my first convention. and I went as a proxy of a real delegate, and I feel very blessed that I had that experience. It was pretty interesting. And what I liked the best were the speeches and the enthusiasm. Team was absolutely incredible. So was Dolores Huerta. And maybe my least favorite were a little bit of the not enough action or not enough action in regard of the times that we're living. Like it was, the speeches were very enthusiastic, but not enough what to do next, like practical advice. But other than that, everything was absolutely incredible and very interesting. And here I can pass to Mano or Richard.
Come on, you come up and tell us. You probably should sit.
You're trying to get on camera.
Can you guys see me okay? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you.
So this was my first convention. I was a proxy for Evan Branning. Obviously you guys probably know, our wonderful councilman. And I think this first convention was very insightful. I honestly learned a lot. The most impactful thing I learned was actually in the caucus meetings. The thing that stood out to me was we were sitting in the Asian AAPI caucus meeting, Richard and I, and we were hearing what's his name, Rob Bonta, that's his name. He was talking about the immigration, what's going on in immigration, and just how much they're battling the Trump administration throughout these past 6 months, and especially like regarding immigration. And the thing that one quote that like really sat with me was how he was comparing what was going on in Nazi Germany with how they went after communists and then Jews and then people and then other minority groups. And then the one thing that he said was, there won't be anyone left to fight for you once everyone else is gone. And he kind of compared it with what's going on now with birthright citizenship and migrants, for example, union workers. And I thought that was the most impactful quote throughout the entire convention. But yeah, I was kind of left. I felt like Isabel was kind of put it to the point. There weren't many action items, which I was kind of looking forward to. Like what can we do in our community to kind of help build up the Democratic Party? How can we get people back into our party? How can we get them voting for us again? Yeah. I'll pass.
Well, I don't have too much extra to say. Hi, I'm Richard. I don't have too much extra to say beyond what everybody else has said, and I know we've got some other stuff on the agenda. This was my third convention, and I will say this was a good first convention for folks who haven't been. I think this was a relatively milder convention. To me, I think like a lot of the things that Isabel and Manav said, and you know, were sort of the same takeaways for me, so I won't repeat them. I think what became clear, at least to me, is that this is still a party that likes to say that we're united, but united around what is still very much in question. There were not very many action items. There was not really a great plan laid forward on how we as a party move forward, either on the state level or the national level. The mood was sort of mixed. It's clear that there's still not a great consensus on how we move forward on really key issues like Israel, Gaza, and some of these other very sensitive topics that really are prevalent in our communities today, and that folks are thinking about how we move forward on ICE and the issue of immigration. It was sort of lacking. There was a lot of folks who talked about we need to stand together. We need to be united against Trump and all of these things. But, you know, all in all, it seemed like very much the same Democratic talking points that have gotten us to a place like this that we are in now. And so in that sense, it was a little bit disappointing. I can't tell you coming out of that convention who our leader is on the Democratic stage, who our leader is in our party on the state level. I mean, our biggest, you know, most well-known Democrat in the state, Kamala Harris, didn't even show up. So what does that really say about the state of our party or the state of the California Democratic Party? Maybe I'm being too harsh. That's just my opinion. But there were some great things that happened, some good discussions, some good panels. And it was great to see a lot of folks who were really fired up, especially young folks and, you know, newcomers and folks who haven't been to a convention before really be fired up about, you know, the different issues that are happening and really trying to make a difference in our community. And that gives me a lot of optimism. I'll say, like, there was I think it was on Friday night, that first night, we had the Alameda County's Democratic Party and the Contra Costa Democratic Party got together for a get together, and that was really fun, seeing folks in our local communities and people in the Bay Area around us really discussing some of the actions at hand and what we can do going forwards to build a collaborative partnership and working relationship. That was very encouraging. But yeah, otherwise I'll pass it back to anybody else who wants to speak. Jackie?
Before I speak about my experience, I know Trish is on. Trish, would you like to make a comment about, you were also a delegate?
Sure, yeah. So it was also my first convention, and I would echo a lot of the concerns that have been voiced. The thing that I found most useful was, as you know, at any good conference, the networking and the realizing how many people are trying to do good things in, you know, in various different ways. The thing I found most concerning is the opacity of the Democratic Party in California itself. The lack of some kind of clear path. Shoot, sorry, I lost the training people to come after you. So whatever that's called, because that just left my head, whatever that word was. But the choices for chair were somebody who'd been there for, you know, a relatively long time, and somebody who was 23 with no experience except, you know, largely being an influencer. I wasn't real thrilled with either of those. And what struck me was that there wasn't anybody in the middle, and there was no apparent path to make that happen. And if that's not happening, I don't see how. That strikes me as just being hugely problematic. So for those of us who can get on, who were delegates, who can be, as opposed to alternates, and who can be, you know, get themselves to be on one of the committees, I think that's what we need to be doing. And, you know, I mean, I'll take Tim Walz or Cory Booker for my candidate for president any day, but, you know, yeah, that's it.
Okay, and I would have to agree with what everybody said as far as, you know, everybody was looking for that secret, what's the secret that, you know, the plan that we have that we're all going to implement, and there wasn't a plan. Though I would say there was a lot of cussing this time, lots of calling people names, and I've never seen that before. That was interesting.
They call each other names?
No, like Tim Walz. They called Elon a dick several times. You know, it was all about Trump and Elon Musk. So no, we didn't call each other, though there was lots of protesting going on, silent protesting about Israel and Palestine and the Palestinians. There was some protesting about what Governor Newsom is doing with trying to put like the transportation funds into some of those, you know, recently passed laws take some of those funding and put it into the general fund. There is concerns about what he's doing there. I did attend a training on Mobilize, which was a good training. I didn't learn a whole lot. I actually, by talking with some of the other people that use Mobilize, specifically the San Francisco Central Committee, I learned some good tools and tricks and some of the gotchas with Mobilize. So that was good. The speech from Tim Walz and Cory Booker were the highlights. There was a taped presentation from Kamala, but like Richard said, she wasn't there. And there was some rumblings about why are we sitting in the convention hall when there were ICE things happening in LA at the time. So a lot of progressives were saying, you know, let's get on a bus and go down there. Forget the scheduled talks tomorrow. Let's just get on a bus and do it. But that didn't happen. Obviously, we stuck to the program. As far as the results from the election, like Trish said, there was a real young guy, real cute kid, but you know, at this time we need somebody that has a lot of experience too. So the end of the election, Rusty Hicks is the chair, Deepa Sharma is a vice chair, David Campos is a vice chair, the controller is Carolyn Fowler, the secretary is Diana Love. Most of those were uncontested. The only races that were contested was the chair, and then there was another candidate running against David, but he made a beautiful speech and backed out. So, and then our regional directors, they were all unopposed. So we still have Victor Costa in Region 6, which is for our Assembly District 16. Region 3 is Jeff Kortzen. That's what happened there.
Said something that made him mad.
That was
Maybe there's only an hour of it.
really. I don't know, but that was interesting. And then Rocky Fernandez is AD 20, which is Region 8. So we still have the same regional directors. No change there. And then if you are a DSCC member, so you were part of the Central Committee and went to the convention as a delegate, you were invited to join the State Party Standing Committee, and that application is open through July 7th. And some of the standing committees are Credentials, Finance, JEDI, which was the old Equity and Inclusion. It's been renamed JEDI. Let them come after the JEDI next. They can go after DEI all they want, but we are now JEDI. Legislation, Organizing, Platform, Resolution, and Rules. So those are the standing committees from the state. If you are a delegate, wish to apply for those, please do. And it looks like we have something in the chat here. And it looks like let's see. Nelson, you were at the convention. Do you want to unmute yourself and check in?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Elson, it's good to see everybody. Yeah, it seemed like how the press covered it, it just was a lower turnout convention. I think it maxed at about 2,400 delegates, which is pretty small compared to like the immediate years after the first Trump administration, like 2016, 17, 18, 19. Those conventions seemed kind of overflowing with activism and like involvement. I don't know why it was so flat. I mean, it just felt flatter this time, but I think that our state executive board right now is very much about voter engagement and fundamentally explaining what the party can do for you, right? And how you can be involved in the party, which is a major step. Secretary Diana Love, I'm a documentary filmmaker. She's come through and she's like, we need some multimedia work, right? Like we got to communicate what building capacity means, what flipping CD 22, 40, 41, and retaining the very, very critical congressional seats we did win last time. And believe me, I was ballot curing in Orange County, okay? It was crazy, right? It was down to like 1,000 ballots for those critical congressional wins. So, you know, this is an everyday affair. They say they want year-round organizing. They haven't articulated what that really means. So I heard from Igor and a lot of people that all the county chairs are coming together and they're like, we can't wait for the state party. We've got to create a vehicle of action. And I have faith in that action. So I can't wait for those developments. But yeah, it's a day at a time. But, you know, I've been listening to a really important podcast, as my final point, by Stacey Abrams. And what she did was she brought, you know, 2 under 30 party communicators on. And one very, very critical thing that I think has to be expressed throughout all these Dem clubs is that there is just not a permanence. Okay, let's not just talk, let's not be critical about our messaging, but where is the permanence of our messaging? Because we can present some type of permanent messaging that isn't just anti-Trump, but we can bring some type of permanence that you can use to during off electoral years to build upon during an electoral cycle for the win. And so I just really got to stress that has stuck with me for hours and hours and hours, and that's something I want to bring up to the state executive board. So thank you so much, Jackie, and everyone for getting together tonight.
Thank you, Nelson. Are you going to apply for one of the committees, standing committees?
No, unfortunately, I didn't make DSCC this time, so I didn't get the appointments that I need. Yeah, so I am working with the Children's Caucus. I'm very proud that almost every single caucus has doubled or tripled down their boards so that there could be broader capacity reach throughout the state. It's just amazing. I know Children's Caucus Board, we have tripled throughout the state, our board, and it's a lot of organized labor. It's going to be incredible the next 2 years of work, you know, because I mean, we have to face it. We're at a very critical point of austerity. If we don't stand by this work, the austerity is just, it's all coming. So it's great. It's just great to be with everyone tonight. And yeah, so I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much, everyone, for organizing.
Thank you. Thank you. And, you know, that is, the caucuses are really important. Anybody can join a caucus. You don't have to be in the central committee. You can join the caucus. I can send the link. They're like $10. Each caucus is like $10 annually. It's not a big deal, but then you get invited to the meetings and you can participate. I'm a member of the Progressive Caucus and the Women's Caucus, but I think I want to join the Urban Caucus because there's a lot of issues that affect Republicans, and we need to be talking to those rural voters because we can't just assume that everybody in the country is going to be a Republican. And we have lots of rural areas here, like in Sunol, the unincorporated areas at Alameda County and beyond. So that's one caucus I plan to join. Anybody else have any comments about the convention? Anyone else that attended? Okay, next I want to go on to the LA protest. Manav, did you happen to have anybody that had some feedback about LA, or I could just recap some of this stuff? Okay. Yeah, Manav is speaking. We did try to get somebody to come in and speak about Miguel Lopez, who is from Livermore. He was picked up, arrested during his immigration hearing, an immigration court hearing, He's been in the States something like 27 years, I believe. He's been working on his immigration for something like 17 years. He's been an employee at the Winty Winery for 9 years. His children are American citizens. They, you know, so his wife is an American citizen. So this isn't somebody that's dangerous. This isn't somebody that's was hiding. We knew where he was. So these are the type of people that they're picking up. In Los Angeles, as you know, there was a weekend of hell in Los Angeles as they started rounding up folks. So this started Friday, June 6th. They did ice sweeps in LA and they detained more than 40 workers. And as you know, violent protests broke out. Then on Saturday, huge protests, and SEIU leader David Peretta, a U.S. citizen, and a U.S. citizen and a leader of for the services union, was assaulted, tear gassed, and arrested by ICE. Then Trump called in the National Guard over the ejections of our governor and mayor. Even as Los Angeles Police Department applauded the protests remaining peaceful, he threatened to bring in the Marines. And then, as you all know, on June 12th, Senator Padilla stated on the State of the Union that he arrived at a federal building for a scheduled briefing with a representative from U.S. Northern Command when he learned Norm was having a press conference just a couple doors down. He said he requested to listen in and was escorted into a room by members of the National Guard and the FBI. They opened the door for him. He stood there. He was listening. He tried to ask a question. And then, of course, he was forcibly removed, shoved to the ground. His staff was told to stop recording. I mean, if that's going to happen by a U.S. senator, what chance do we have to stand up to these people? I mean, that's why we're out in the streets. That's why we're out there. And for that reason, we took a resolution that was passed in the Central Committee and tried to update it for some of the new things that are happening. And this was written by Trish Monroe. So Trish, I'm going to give you the floor and I'm going to bring up the resolution and let you present it to our members, if you may. So let me get this resolution up on the screen.
While you're doing that, I'll just give a little background, which was as
Sure.
this was heating up a few months ago, my concern was that anything that was terribly specific, that mentioned people, that mentioned specific situations, was going to rapidly become out of date. That what we were seeing was part of a pattern and that we needed to address that pattern, and that in particular it needed to be focused locally, largely, because this is where we live. This is the people that we have the most ability to shape lives and stand up for here, as all the people who stood up for Miguel Lopez did in Livermore just a few weeks ago and are continuing to. So that was my goal in writing this resolution, and then with the further actions of the past few weeks, Jackie asked if I could update it. So I did. It didn't take much. I mean, that I guess says that the first time round did what I was hoping it would do. And I can't read it very well here on my screen. So if someone would like to read it.
I'll read it. It is showing on the screen here, and I do have it for folks in the room handouts. And
Yeah,
I also sent it.
I can see it. It's just it's small. So
let me see if I can make it bigger.
Yeah. But go ahead and read it, Jackie. I think you know,
okay.
You'd be good.
And by the way, this passed unanimously in the Central Committee last month. And the title is Resist the Trump Administration's Anti-Immigration Actions. Whereas freedom of speech and peaceful assembly are fundamental rights guaranteed by the First Amendment to the Constitution, to the U.S. Constitution, and the California Democratic Party preamble calls on us to fight, to defend, and to promote the rights, opportunity, and safety of all Californians, and to speak out against injustice and hate for all marginalized communities. And whereas the Trump administration has activated ICE to arrest and deport immigrants, students, green card holders, and other vulnerable populations without clear evidence of crimes or violation of immigration laws, and has unilaterally brought in National Guard and Marines to California and dismiss objections from a sitting senator in a pattern of actions that threatens all of our fundamental rights, violates principles of due process, and undermines the trust and security of immigrant communities across Alameda County and throughout the nation, and worse, are the brutal and arbitrary actions characteristic of a fascist government. Whereas Alameda County is home to immigrants with and without green cards who attend schools, universities, work in jobs across the economic spectrum, have and express varied political opinions, and espouse beliefs of various kinds, religious or not, who are all deserve to live in a secure society grounded in the rule of law and due process. Therefore, be it resolved that the Alameda County Democratic, I need to change that to say the Tri-Valley Democratic Party, not Central Committee.
Sorry about that.
That was me. I missed that. Supports freedom of speech and peaceful assembly as fundamental rights, condemns politically motivated deportations and detentions that lack a clear legal basis, infringe on constitutional rights, or intimidate residents from expressing political opinions, and calls on all residents of Alameda County to inform themselves of their rights and those of their neighbors, and to resist any legal action from agents of the Trump administration. Be it further resolved that we call upon and support our elected officials throughout Alameda County and beyond as they act to stop this inhumane treatment and fight for a return to the rule of law. And be it further resolved that we demand that the Trump administration respect our elected reps, including those elected officials and our federal congresspersons and senators. And that was authored primarily by Trish Monroe with a couple minor updates. Do we have any discussion about that? Modifications, suggested wording changes? I'll just open it up to anybody.
A motion and a second.
Well, let's just have a discussion. If there's any verbiage change or anything else that needs to occur, and just that one clause. Is there any other concerns or feedback, anyone? On Zoom?
Where are we going to send it?
Make sure you're turned on. Make sure your thing is turned on, Ellen. The little green light.
Ron likes it as it is.
Yeah, my
Thank
green
you.
light is on.
Okay.
Okay. Who are we going to send this to?
Well, this was a resolution. It's not a letter. We can post this resolution on our website. We could post it on our social platforms. We could send it to the press with a press release that we pass this resolution tonight if we do so. And any other suggestions that you all have?
Seems to cover the gamut.
Anything else?
Well,
So with the
we would like to send it to representatives.
there you go. So they can
I
hear
think
you.
we should send it to all our elected representatives, assemblies, state senate, Congress people, the like, and maybe even send it to people outside our purview.
Okay. We could do that. We could send it to our state legislatures, representatives, our congressional representatives, even our local mayors and cities.
Jackie,
Yes.
I think sending it to the press is a great idea. All the local press.
Okay. The Independent, and we do have some others. We have a
That is
pretty
from-
good list. That was Ramona.
Yeah, East Bay Times.
Yeah, we could send it to East Bay Times. We could send it to the Independent, the Pleasanton Weekly, the Contra Costa. Yeah, the Central Committee, I have a huge list of press. I just cut and paste and everybody at one time. Anybody else on the call with any other feedback?
Yeah, so I would like to note that in case you missed it, all the mayors of Alameda County signed a letter. Basically, it didn't say exactly this, but it was, you know, strongly condemning what's going on. You know, basically they followed what this was. So I'm a little concerned. I think absolutely sending this out to media makes sense. I think that's what it's designed for. That's what resolutions are in general are designed for. If we want to contact representatives, I would craft this in such a way as to be specific. So for example, something that went to Swalwell like this, I mean, if I were Swalwell, I'd just kind of roll my eyes because, I mean, you know, this is what he's been doing. If this went to the mayors, well, you know, they're like, but we already stood up for this. You know, it would be nice to have gotten a thank you. What might be my response if I can think about my own city's mayor? And so, I mean, if we want to use this to follow up with, then I would use this as a model to be specific. If we want to just say this is how we feel and what we believe, then I think this is appropriate to go to the press. So
Ben has something to say.
So if we wanted to send it to our local mayors and stuff, would you suggest a different format then? A letter stating, thank you, John Marchant, for your support in this, or
something like that. Yeah, yeah. We, you know,
What we
thank
need
you.
to say to Congress people, local representatives, mayors, city council, whatever, is that we strongly stand with you.
Yeah,
And
but I
leave
think
it at that.
what I
This
think
is how we stand with you.
sure. But I think the way we do that is in the form of a thank you, actually, you know, or in the form of a solidarity with. It strikes me that in the language.
I'm going to invite them to our picnic.
There
Here,
we
we
go.
thank
And
you
can you
with a
give
hot
us money
dog.
while you're at it? It's not that I'm not opposed at all to sending something. I just think that we should be very mindful of what they're actually doing. I mean, I think they're either on the ground doing the work or they're not. And either way, it deserves.
Well, then maybe we should, that last statement, be it further resolved that we call upon and support our elected officials throughout and beyond as they act. It kind of says it there that and maybe we should just say, and we thank those who've already taken strong action. Something like that, or I think it kind of says it. I mean, it kind of says it. We could draft letters to thank individuals, but I think this is a pretty good statement that could stand on its own, and if they're already doing this, they shouldn't be insulted with it. Be direct. We stand with you.
Yeah, something like that. I just want to make sure that, I mean, one of the things I was concerned about in this original was the idea that we were going to be telling our electeds who actually are facing this in one way or another all the time, we were going to be directive in a way that was just not appropriate. And since some of them have acted, I want to make sure that we are continuing to be, to be working in concert with them. So yeah, I think we stand with you would be great.
Okay, and we could do that to the folks that are the people that are already standing with us and doing the right thing. I don't know if every city leader is doing that. Maybe we need to send one of our city council member this.
No, I mean, look, I think it would be better in some sense to assume they are, because
that's what Van just said.
Oh, good. Well,
that's exactly what Van just said, that we assume they are. So we say thank you to our local elected officials, but this should go on our website. This should go out to the press. Do we stand with us? Okay. So would you change this resolution any? Okay. So just the topic of the letter, the subject matter will be "Stand with Us." The title of the email to the press, whatever, is "Stand with Us," with this resolution attached. And thank you to those that are already doing it.
I mean, in the case of someone like Swalwell, it's like, we stand with you.
Right. We can target direction. Yeah, I saw Swalwell on a couple good posts this weekend. Let me just check the chat here. Let's see. There's a couple things about a different issue I'll go back to.
Have we made this a motion yet, Jackie, or
Not yet.
you moving on?
Not yet. So is there a motion? I see Van is.
I'm so moved.
He is so moved. He is moving this motion. Do we have a second? Sharon, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the ayes have it. Short of that one clarification, this Tri-Valley Democratic Club, this will be sent to the press, and Ellis will help me get some of this out. Let me stop sharing that and check the chat here with some other questions. Going back to some of the other subjects, it looks like. Beverly, you had a comment here. Thought for the next demo, would it be more useful to attend an event in the Republican Congressional District? What's your thought on that?
Well, I feel like the more we can be in the face of Republican representatives, the more of a chance that some of them may start to waver. I almost feel like our only hope is to get these Republican senators and congressmen to join together to stand up against Trump. And so that was where that came from. I don't know what went on in any of the Republican congressional districts in our state. And did you find your husband?
It's hard to find the rock they're hiding under.
Yeah, I don't know about that because I have a hard time even talking to my sister who's a Republican. If I can't make headways with her and I love her, how am I going to make headways with these Republicans out? And I don't know. That would be something. I mean, we could talk about that more, how we could do that.
If you could find somebody who does religious conversions and we can hire them, maybe that would work out. But you're not going to change any Republican legislator. They're all scared, in case you haven't heard.
Yeah, you can get enough of them. My feeling is if like 40 or 50 of them would suddenly get, you know what, and join together, that may be a hope for our something happening. I mean, I may be wrong if it's maybe impossible to happen.
I find that it's people's nature to not admit they're wrong until they have to. And until it hurts them, until it hurts their pocketbook, until the farmers, the crops are rotting in the field, I just don't know how we're going to get Republicans to wake up. They have to be shown that it's hurting them as well. I know some folks are trying to call Social Security and having issue. And like I said, the farmers are having issues, not only the farmers here in California, but the farmers in the Midwest who sell their crops to China, in Africa and other places. And it just doesn't seem to, until it hurts their pocketbook, until it hurts them, I just don't see them coming on board. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just don't see it. Let's see. is Winty stepping up to support their employee? Does anybody in Livermore know if Winty's being involved in this in any way? I do not know.
This came up. I'm trying to think. I think it was on a Livermore Indivisible call. We talked about it, and they said that I don't know the veracity of this. They said Wente could get in trouble for employing him in the first place, and so they have other employees with the same status, and they don't want to call attention to themselves, and so we couldn't ask them why they aren't speaking up. But I suspect, I think with his status, what we know of his status, that he has permission to work.
And that's what Ben said here as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine Wente is risking anything, on a bigger scale. So
there's a lot of people that have, are here on visas to work. A lot of them. And yeah, so he was here legally as far as working. So I don't think they could get in trouble. I think originally he was undocumented a long time ago, but
he came over undocumented. But the concern is for the other members of the workforce at Wente, is my understanding.
It doesn't matter if he's legal or not, because what the employer is afraid of is Trump will just go after him for no reason, and they can make their life miserable. And that's that. He's a bully, and that's what he's doing to these companies and even to the Republicans. The thing with the Republicans, you don't need a bunch of them. You need about 3 or 4 to be one of them to be John McCain and stand up to him. But right now, there are no Republicans that have the testicular fortitude to do that.
I feel you're going to need more than that, because you have a Liz Cheney. Weren't there like 8 or 9? And they were just kicked out of the party, with death threats. I really think you need a lot more than 2 or 3. Yes, that would be a start. But look what happened to Liz Cheney.
Yeah, he's saying that they have Alan was just saying, because of the margins so close, we get 2 or 3 people, Republicans, to vote with us, then they can't get anything passed. The whole thing stops. But there is no John McCain in their party right now. It's really depressing. There isn't anybody that will stand up.
Trish's hand is up.
Trish, yes, Trish.
I wanted to go back to the original question, which was, should we be demonstrating in Republican districts? And I think this conversation has shown that unless we know what we're doing, probably not would be the answer. That said, I know that there's quite a bit of work that's being done, particularly in the area, our area, and related to Central Valley, and how you go out and talk to people. And one of the things we could do as a club, and we could do just in general, is not in the context of this meeting, but do trainings based on some of this work. I'm remembering back in 2016, 2017, looking at some of this work as well. And there's we cannot change what the Republicans in Congress are going to be doing. We can change using language, looking at ourselves, how and looking at how we talk to others and how we listen, how the kind of response we get sometimes. And maybe that's the kind of training we should be working on as a club.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on that subject? Oh, let's see. There was another comment in the chat here. Jan, are you on? What is this? I think it was Jan's note taker asked a question. That's interesting. And Nelson said issues-based for pragmatic organizations like education, healthcare, climate, water rights are being used now in CD40. You want to unmute yourself, Nelson, again and explain your comment
Yeah.
there?
So, right now there's kind of like this, you can't just spin normal democratic platforms and expect crossovers, right? So there's kind of this at least this attempt right now of like 3 times a week, organizers trying to flip CD40 down in Tustin, trying to make that, trying to take the seat away from young Kim. They're trying to do programmatic organizing first. So what they're doing is like 3 times a week, they're doing phone banks about healthcare primarily and healthcare funding because, that's really at stake right now. Right. I mean, I didn't even know until I deep dived into this, but it profoundly affects children because, no, seriously, right? Because it's like, like 1 in 3 kids in the state is on Medi-Cal, right? And they're on Medi-Cal until they're like 12, right? And apparently that tallies up to like $86 billion of federal funding a year. But like a third of it at least is going to get cut. And the state ledge is kind of just concealing that right now and not really talking about it because they need to find the emergency funds to bail that out. And so so like, so they're seeding it, right? They're seeding it right now by so I'm just saying you can show up to these Republican districts and be like, yeah, we'll protect your rights, we'll do that, but I think there's kind of a lead up to these district flips and these campaigns, and I think it's more like issue space right now, saying healthcare is one of them. But when you drive around the Central Valley, you always see those signs being all like, Newsom took away our water rights. So if and they believe it, because even I'm like driving on the highway and I'm like, oh, did he really? Like, did he really, right? So, that's part of the programmatic thing. Like, if you can convince that those districts and those precincts, no, we actually gave you more water and better water and safer water, then you can see
Right out
that
to the
candidate to
ocean.
come in. But anyway, so I'm gonna throw it back to the meeting. Okay.
No, that's okay. Thank you so much. You have a lot of great insight. Huh. Okay, let's see. Any other discussion around talking to Republicans? We can always table in Livermore, Pleasanton. There's enough Republicans there if you want to practice.
I'm gonna chuck. Oh, sorry. Could I quickly? I think doing food bank food drives and giveaways and making that contact with the community is one of like the steps right now.
That is an excellent idea. And actually, I do have an event here. Indivisible Tri-Valley will be at Open Heart Kitchen Food Bank in Livermore on July 30th to sort and pack fresh produce. And they're asking for people to volunteer for that. Let's see. So you need to register by July 30th. And I will send this to all of our members, but also
food bank. We used to volunteer for the food bank during the Bernie campaign in 2016. It is verboten talking politics at the food bank. If you're a volunteer or anybody else, it's supposed to be apolitical charity, and you don't know who you're working with, and you're not there to get into a political debate. You're there to give food to people.
okay.
It's a good idea. Is going to other.
It's a good deed.
There's more Republican representation. I don't think.
So you're saying to volunteer at a food bank in a Republican
Yeah,
district.
I think that's a great way to reach out to people.
Okay. That is a good idea.
You can still keep it relatively mild. The point is, Democrats are about humanity. Republicans are, you know, domination. And that kind of moral theme is something that we have to start promoting. That I talked to this ethicist, and he said the corruption, the fact that people don't care with all the things that Trump has managed to normalize, they just don't care what kind of crap he's doing until it hits them in the pocketbooks, until it hits their neighbors with them losing their health care, when it hits the seniors. That's when things are going to start shaking up.
Right.
And get a real crossover in the electorate. Until that time, we have to be somewhat higher representatives of ourselves to start attracting people to a different way of polity.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yes. Go
well,
ahead and go ahead.
Yeah, one comment is, there's flipping elections is really, or districts is really important. But in addition, right now we have people in there for 2 more years or whatever. And what I do, and I'm a medical advocate along with Beverly, we know each other. And I go and call off hours Republican district senators, everyone on like the health committee for health, and then everyone on the health committee for Republicans off hours, or at night or on a weekend, and leave a message, and just for some reason forget to say exactly what my zip code is. Whereas if you call during the day, they're going to always ask you that, and as soon as you say 94 blah blah blah, you're out the window. But you can leave messages, and I've actually had them call me back sometimes. And so I've sometimes called up to 50 Republican senators to advocate off hours, and I think that's a good return on investment for time, because they don't know you're not in their district because you're leaving a message. And so that's just one comment that I think as leveraging that I do, but that's a personal choice.
Good idea. Yeah, I usually try to send emails, but you're right. Their emails often have a form, so you can't get through
Right.
their system because
can't.
it takes out unless you know an address of somebody that lives in their area.
Right. And then you always need to call the DC office because that's the legislative. And then if you know exactly who's like in a health committee, in my case, then you try to get to that person. And then also if they're in DC and health and an aid in areas, if I'm an interest, I link to them on LinkedIn. And some do, most don't, but hey, what do you have to lose? And then you try to get a conversation going.
Do you have a list of from these committees?
Those ideas.
Yeah, these are great ideas.
We
would love to see some of these, like an action plan for targeting Republicans and how to go about it, with like some emails and or phone numbers and what committee they're on.
So number one, get your current California rep, your senators and your congressmen. Okay, that's for sure. And Swalwell knows me, and DeSaulnier knows about this and all that. So I'm done there, and I'm with a group Solve ME meeting with Senator Padilla's office, not Padilla, Schiff's office in a week, and also 4 other reps. So that takes care of that. But they're Dems, and face it, what's decision making and getting legislation changed is Republicans. So we have to, as an advocate, not as a Dem member, although I am a Dem both Tri-Valley and San Ramon, because I'm now in DeSaulnier's district. I used to be Eric Swalwell's district. And so you really have to go after the Republican nationwide, and the senators are easy because there's only on the order of 52 Republican senators. A lot easier calling their 52 offices versus every House rep, So I always start with the senators. And the senators right now is the decision time. So right now, to me, a really high priority is calling every Republican senator within the next week, ideally, and especially the for my advocacy, which is myalgic encephalomyelitis, similar to chronic fatigue and long COVID. Okay, and Bev knows all about this too.
My
So,
daughter has that too.
yeah, so we're advocates, but that's an approach I've been doing that I think is useful. And then sometimes I get people I know, they'll call 50, 100 people too, and they could be anywhere in the country because it doesn't matter so long as you do it off hours. And then secondary to that, if you still have energy and time, which we typically don't, but if you do, then you could also Twitter. Twitter is pretty useless, honestly. But and some use Twitter and some don't. But if the person uses Twitter and you care about their attitude and they have a chance, then you Twitter to a response to them right after they make a comment. So they make a comment, I gave this great speech today, and if you're the first, second, or third responder, people see you. If you're the 4,000th responder, you're totally wasting your time.
Good point.
Just to add, you can actually find the legislative aids for most, I think, senators and congressmen. You can Google them and you can get all their information in addition. And I've done what Mark said. I've called Republicans in the middle of the night and left messages also that are not in my district. So it's been.
Jackie, I have a comment.
Yes, Alice.
There's no reason to play by Marquis the Queensberry rule. You want to call up a senator or a congressman, even from another state. Find out the address of their local office. They all have local offices in their district. Go out on Google Earth or Zillow and find an address right there and take another identity. They have no qualms about lying either. We don't have to play Mr. Nice Guy. There's absolutely no reason for us to be honest with them when they've been so dishonest with us.
Good point. So maybe
they don't have the same last name.
Well, I'm not encouraging dishonesty, just neglect of little facts that you're not in their district. So it's not dishonest. It's just they're playing games. We could play games too, you know.
The Supreme Court has ruled that it's okay to lie on television. I guess it's okay to lie on.
So the other point is that everything they are responsible to all of us before they are responsible to their constituents. In fact, if they are in national office, their first job is to fulfill the role of caring for all of us. That's what they took an oath to. They didn't take an oath to the people who voted for them. So by whatever means, communicating that to them, I think is absolutely key.
Oh, and then I always use their terminology. So I always say, hey, for medical stuff, well, let's make America healthy again. And then blah, blah, blah. So I use their terminology and then they kind of listen,
The other point I would make is that I've heard, I think that we need to not speak about identity. I know plenty of Democrats that whose actions are not what I would consider to be matching the values of the Democratic Party. I know plenty of Republicans, same thing. I think we need to be very clear about what we're doing. And if we do that, then the people they'll see who we are and they will follow. If we proclaim that we're better because we're Democrats, then and we don't act it, or even if we do, that identity, any identity before your actions is dangerous.
Yeah, and then if you are calling off hours, you could also, if you do your homework, you could say, Senator from Arkansas, let's make Arkansas healthy again. So make sure that then they just assume you're in their district.
That's aha instead of maha.
he said aha instead of maha.
Yeah.
I think I will try to put together a list just to get it all in place for our members of, the list of senators and congressional members, and try to find phone numbers that we can leave messages in the middle of the night.
Oh, the 202 numbers are all right on the senate.gov or whatever. You can print the whole list right now, and it says what party, what state, what district.
Well, to be honest, this has been one of the more interesting discussions, for the Tri-Valley Dems. And I'm wondering if we could make this an agenda item for next month.
Definitely. We can definitely put it as an agenda item of how to communicate, how to approach all of the senators and legislatures, and how to be reaching out to Republicans to get them. And I love the ideas about using their language.
I was gonna say that in college, I already made a list of all the representatives and senators. I guess it just needs to be updated because it's been a couple years. So I guess I can find it and I can share it, and it's we just need to update it with all the new people that have come in and all the people that have left.
Yeah, we need to go out to the congressional website and pull the whole list.
It's an easier way.
And there's also I'm sorry.
ChatGPT will give it to you right away.
And there's used to be government track. There used to be, I'm trying to look.
I'm going to put it on our website. Yeah,
There
go ahead.
Different websites where you can look up everything. I'm trying to look as we're talking, and Jackie, I can send it to you if I can find what I use that lists all of their staff and everything and their phone numbers and everything. I'm trying to find.
Yeah, I'm sure I can find it as well. I'm sure I can, between what Manav has and I'll go out and put together something so it's all just consolidated in one place. I know the information's out there already, but just to make it easier, even if it's a link directly to the government's website. I know that with Trump, they've taken a lot of stuff down, so they've made it more difficult to get information than a year ago. But Steve Miller's address. Van wants to send him some pizzas. I'd like to send him a gargoyle for his yard. A girlfriend. I don't know. Did you hear his wife? Did you hear his wife left with Elon Musk? Yeah, did you hear that one? So Stephen Miller's wife left. Probably. She went to work for him in Texas, and she left at the same time Musk left. Wonder what's going on there. Yeah, that's exactly what they were talking about, that it wasn't his kid X that punched him. It was probably Stephen Miller. And because Stephen Miller's left-handed, and it's right on his left eye.
So I just put in chat the https senate.gov senators index, list of all the senators, and they give all the last 5 digits of the phone extension. So it's always 202, 04, and then whatever numbers they give there is the full phone number that's available to anyone right now for their DC offices.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. I will share that information. And like Van said, we will agendize this as well for next month so we can talk about what are we actually going to do with this? What action? We're gonna annoy the heck out of them is what we're gonna do.
But one comment, next month's gonna be too late. The Senate's gonna make maybe decisions in the next week. So consider calling them this week.
Yeah, for the budget, for the big bad bill.
Yeah, this is the big bad bill.
Yeah, definitely. And I will get that out tomorrow, I promise.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, send it to me. And let's see. I love the gorilla calling in the middle of the night. I think that's one of my favorite lines from tonight. Gorilla of my dream. That is the funniest. Have you ever seen that one? Is Bugs Bunny cartoon, Gorilla of My Dreams? Funniest cartoon I think I ever saw. Okay. I think that is it on this. I did provide in our agenda this beautiful article that was written by our club member Christian Fritz. Is Christian on? tonight by any chance? I'm not going to read the article, but I did attach it to our agenda for tonight, so it's in the MailChimp notice that you received, and this letter appeared, or this article appeared in the Albuquerque Journal on June 7th, and it's beautifully written, and I went ahead and attached it to your agenda packets for those of you in the room, and then I will send it back out again with our meeting minutes. So take a look at that article, very well written. Another thing that I have in the agenda packet for tonight is some information, kind of a toolkit for you to take, and it's the Rapid Communities Against ICE, and this is the Communities Justice org. Let me share this link with you guys, and it has what to do, you know, about standing up to ICE, what to do if ICE is at your home, what to do if ICE is at your workplace, what to do if ICE is in your school, what to do if ICE is in a medical facility. And they have some good trainings and information for restaurants, for example, what's a private area, what's not, what's a public area, where ICE can go and where ICE cannot go. And I'm not going to read all of this, but I will go ahead and share it with you guys. And let me give, for the people on Zoom, the link real quick. Yeah, that's true. This assumes that they follow the law, and that's not to say that this is going to work, because that ICE is breaking the law. You know, they're dismissing court cases so that ICE can yank these people while they're attending legal briefings. So, yeah, let me give you guys this link, and it is www.ccijustice.org. And there's all kinds of training. I think that we should also, during one of our next meetings, do this training, or at least I could send you, there's some online training that this organization's gonna do. And either members can attend it virtually, or we could try to do a training here if we could find somebody from this organization to help us do some training. I did send some of this information to Beeb's Restaurant in Livermore. They asked for, you know, what do we do if ICE comes in, and what are we supposed to do legally? We don't want to get into trouble. You know, what's the rules? So the same information was sent to the bar manager there. So I suggest share it with people.
Jackie, you have a comment on that.
Yes.
I think, not that I know all of our members, but I don't think very many of any of our members are at risk for being abducted by ICE. Could happen, but very rare. However, there are people at risk in the community, like you pointed out, the restaurant owners, perhaps the people who own the wineries. Obviously, from Miguel's case, we know that. And maybe what we can do is train our members about this issue and send them out with some kind of flyer that instructs the restaurant owners what to do if ICE shows up. And maybe we could have a Zoom meeting that we're sponsoring that educates employers who feel that their establishment is at risk. And that way we're doing a public service, we're making a difference. Yeah, something to say.
I'm a little nervous about directly training the business people. It's one thing to provide them the tools that another organization has put together, or provide online training, and if they happen to join, but to say, hey, restaurant workers, we're going to tell you how to do it. If that something goes wrong, I don't want to be responsible. Right. We need to have legal expertise and official.
This other organization do it.
Yeah.
But we could organize it.
I was gonna say the best option, because I own a tutoring center in Dublin, and the way that we do it is I have red cards, which are basically I have one on my wallet, but it's basically a card that reads you your rights. This one's in Spanish. But I have cards in Hindi and Mandarin because we deal a lot with the Asian community. And what I've done is just in our plaza, we're in Tivoli Plaza in Dublin, and I've just gone around and I've only given out in Hindi and Mandarin because that's where our majority of our business are. So I think that's the best option to start with that, because it also protects the workers and it doesn't make it so obvious with the employers. So I think that's maybe the best option. And we can order, like, there's a website on the card and you can order like bulk order of any language. Like, I think that's the best option instead of like having a training, because that also puts that might put employees at risk. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Do you have an extra one?
Yeah, I have extras.
Okay, thank you. That's a great idea. So definitely, and I think that Ellis is right. This would probably be a whole session in and of itself, because it would take a lot of time, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions. Is Indivisible doing anything like this? Does anybody know if Indivisible's already?
Livermore Indivisible has an immigration committee that has talked to us about this and made cards available for us to carry as individuals if we're out and see a case where it would be advantageous or someone we think might use them. They're still talking about getting a supply and like dropping them off strategically in bathrooms or things like that. We're not doing that as a group yet, but they do order a lot of cards in bulk. And so if you wanted to partner with them, you'd probably get a better price.
I would love to do that.
That's where I got my cards, and I posted some on bulletin boards around town.
So you already have the cards as well, Mary, with this
Yes.
same?
And ours are just in Spanish as far as I know, Mary.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Do you know otherwise?
Well, mine are in Spanish and
Yeah.
English.
Yeah, that's all I've heard of.
I think it's a wonderful idea. Can we partner with you, Mary, to get the right language and stuff? I mean, whether we use to save on money or not. I see this as the Union Bud, so it was professionally printed. I
That's
do
what
like
ours are.
using the Union.
That's the same one.
Oh,
And
it's the same one.
Jackie, I was just running around when you were talking about languages. I was on the other side of the living room. What do you want in addition to Spanish?
Hindi and Arabic.
Okay, I'll write it down and ask for it.
And any other prevalent language in the Tri-Valley?
Specific businesses. If you target landscape gardeners, get it in Spanish. If you're going to target Chinese restaurants, get it in Chinese, get it in Mandarin. You know that various nationalities gravitate toward various business sectors, and we can make it. And restaurants, if it's an Indian restaurant, get it in Hindu.
Hindi.
Excuse me.
And then the other prevalent language is Tagalog.
Jackie, if you'd like, I can ask Helen, who's in charge of that committee, to reach out to you.
That would be wonderful. Thank you, Jan.
Because Livermore Indivisible partnered with the groups who actually work with the immigrant community and said, how can we help? How can we support? And this is how they recommended that we do that. So I don't know if it's different for different demographics. So if you want to talk to Helen, that's probably better.
Yeah, we definitely need to just, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. So we want to just take what you guys have already done, what we know works. These folks probably already know the demographics and the prevalent languages. I would say that definitely in Dublin, though, we do need Hindi and Arabic, though, would be a good addition if it hasn't already been done. But yeah, definitely Spanish and English are the top.
Jackie,
Mona
what
has her
about
hand up.
Vietnamese? Vietnamese.
Vietnamese?
Yes. We have Vietnamese restaurants here in Dublin.
What was that, ma'am?
Tesla dealership.
Pass them out at Tesla. Pass them out at the Tesla dealership. Okay, so I will reach out to Helen and work with her and Manav to try to make sure that we're covering all of our needs as well, but definitely not reinventing the wheel. Wonderful. Thank you. Anything else on training, ICE training, immigrant rights training? J. Paul has a training session 2 that I was sent in the Central Committee. I haven't looked at it yet, but I want to sign up for her training. I heard it's really good. And she is the chair of the Progressive Caucus, the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Now let me just get back to our agenda real quick. Regarding Miguel Lopez, Miguel has already been sent out of the country, so he's out of the country now.
Mexico.
So he has already been sent to Mexico. So what is does anybody know what the next action is going to be? I know that there is a fundraiser out there. They've almost raised $50,000 through the GoFundMe. What else other than funding what can we do at this point since he's out of the country? Eric Swalwell's on it. I know our supervisor's on it, but what can we do? I don't know how much their target on the GoFundMe was 50,000 and they're almost there. Oh, okay. And I thought, yeah, so I don't know if they need more. I'd assume they need more. There's lawyers involved and we need to keep the pressure on. We need to keep sharing that information. Even though he's out of the country, we need to put pressure to bring him back. What else can we do? Anyone?
At this moment, we are not doing anything, but one of the ideas, I mean, directly with the lawyer, one of the ideas that I saw is with the special marker, putting the card on your card, bring hashtags, bring Miguel home. And I saw already a couple of cards that they are doing that on their back.
Oh,
on their back, no, on the glass, on the back window. I can show you one.
Yeah, share that. So maybe we could have maybe I could have some bumper stickers or something made with bring him back.
Yeah, I think if you put it on the window, there's a chance that I think that's probably a violation, an automobile violation, obstructing the view. So it's a risk when you put it on the window.
Yeah, I see a lot of them with the graduation seniors and stuff. So I think you need to make sure it doesn't block your rear view mirror. So you need to keep it low enough you can see over it. Or maybe on a side window but that would be good. We could make some signs. We could maybe even get some bumper stickers to say.
still, it's the same thing like ambulance windows.
So here's what they did with, you can see that.
They can see anything, your battery alert.
When you've got to plug in your computer.
No, my battery is fine. Oh, that's the battery on the projector. That's the battery on the projector. So, we're going to keep going real fast here and see. Where'd Caleb go? Richard, could you do me a favor and open up this? And there's a power cord in here. And then we'll see if we can find a place to plug this in. Caleb may have an extension. I better move quick, or we'll lose you guys on the projector, and you'll just see me. We won't see you.
You got a long enough.
That's it. We just need, yeah. It may be okay. We may just lose our projector.
Power cord in that wall. Oh, down here, Alice.
Okay. While they're trying to find me more power, now we know how long the battery doesn't last that long on this. I'm gonna have to keep it plugged in. I want to give you guys an update. I want to give you guys an update on one of our legislation that we endorsed, SB 42. So a couple months ago, we endorsed SB 42, and it passed the Senate 28-10. So it's now headed to the Assembly. And again, a reminder, SB 42 will put the California Fair Elections Act on the November 2026 ballot to repeal the outdated ban on public finance and campaign. This is the single best way to give voters and candidates a real fighting. Here, what happened here? Okay. Oh, I think you just shut it down.
How do you turn it back on? A mind of its own.
Supposed to.
And AI. Oh, that goes.
There you go. Okay, sorry guys. So what we are asking club members to do is, if you haven't already done so, sign a petition for SB 42. And let me give you the link in the chat, and then I will also send it out in our meeting notes. Sorry guys, I thought I was super organized. You know how it is when you get so organized that you can't find nothing?
Jerry McNerney became a co-author of SB 42.
That's a big link, but I promise that'll take you to it. So if you haven't already signed the petition, it would be great if club members can sign this. We did endorse this. We co-sponsored it. We sent $100, I think a $200 check, $100 or $200 check. They haven't cashed it yet, though. Typical campaign committee, but it will get cashed sooner or later. And then a reminder, we're asking folks to, if you haven't already done so, renew your dues, how important it is to renew your dues. The pre-endorsement process is coming up, and the way it works is for every 20 members in Alameda County, we get one representation in the pre-endorsement process. So if we have 40 members, we get 2 reps. If we have 60 members, we get 3 reps. And it has to be within the same county. So in order to get representation in Contra Costa County, we would have to have 20 members in Contra Costa County. So it's important to get our membership up now before that deadline. And then what I will be doing is submitting all the paperwork, uploading a list of our members, and they only use it to verify that you are a Democrat. You have to be a Democrat to count. And so I'll be looking up all of your
Assembly district rather than.
it is it's county and assembly district. So they only, Alameda County Central Committee only counts our, you know, we only get so many votes within that county, if that makes sense. I mean, it is assembly district, but they don't, I don't think they count our Contra Costa County folks in Alameda County. So to be counted in Contra Costa, we'd have to have at least 20 folks in Contra Costa County. The deadline for that is yeah, August 6th. August 6th. So we will be working on club recruitment the next month, trying to reach out to folks that were members before that are not members now. We are going to invite folks to a free event in August. So to hope get new people in. I know that's after the deadline, but we're going to get that advertisement out with our, you know, drop in, meet the club members. We're going to try to get lots of elected speakers or other guest speakers. That's next to work, I need to work on. And then we want you to save the date, August 23rd at 12:30 p.m. in Pleasanton. It's going to be at the rec center in Pleasanton. So look for that invite coming out soon. We are asking for folks if they'd like to help coordinate it with setup, breakdown, or bring an appetizer or dessert share. And then we will publicize this event to the public through Mobilize. We won't ask the public to bring food. We'll just invite the public in to have a hot dog and us and meet club members. But we'll ask our club members if they would like to help with that. So let me, I will give you guys the sign up for that. And I will send out tomorrow the save the date and all the graphics for that. But in the meantime, if anybody would like to help with that event, there's the link with a Google form to let me know what you would like to do. How would you like to help? We did already have some folks offer to volunteer. So there's already a few folks on this committee, but if anybody else would like to join us, please do so. Yes, Van asked if we are communicating to Indivisible, asking them to join the club. Yes, definitely we should do that. And I will do that. I will send it to the folks I know that are leads in Indivisible, both Tri-Valley and Livermore Indivisible. Tri-Valley Indivisible did such an awesome job this past weekend. It was so amazing in Dublin. And there's a lot of people I know that don't know about us and would like to meet us. And I would like to start going to the Indivisible meetings and introducing myself. And often they're on a Sunday when my family's events have been going on. So it's tough sometimes on a Sunday, but I promise I will get there this next Indivisible meeting. And unless it's this weekend, it's not this weekend, is it? I'm in Santa Cruz. Richard or Manav, can one of you guys show up to that meeting to next Sunday to Indivisible, Live and More Indivisible? Just to invite folks, if I give you some, here's the like a little newsletter to hand out about save the date, and here's our club, and I can give you some business cards. Manav's got it. He's going to come and represent us, and Van as well. So I will get you. I haven't gone to any of their meetings. I should sign up.
Is there a way to
And when is Tri-Valley Indivisible? It was last weekend. Is there a set time? Okay, we will get that information out too. I'm all for sharing information. If Indivisibles has a lot more members and they're doing a lot of things, no skin off my nose. I'm fine to join the party, and we're all working towards the same thing. So that's great. Let's see. And speaking of membership, Alan, did you want to come up and do a report real quick? We'll talk about our membership and where we are so far. Give us a good idea of where we may sit with pre-endorsements.
Well, we had a big month for the treasurer's report. We had one person join, which means we had an income of $25, for which we had to spend $1.03 for the service charge from Square to do it, which gave us a net income for the month of $23.97. We had no expenses. The only thing that's outstanding is that $200 check that I mentioned before that nobody wants to cash. We started with a balance of $3,104.28. Our new balance is $3,128.25. We went up to 95 members. We have some who haven't rejoined, and I just want to mention, if somebody wanted to do it for membership, there's all it would take is just to go over the roster, and the people who haven't rejoined from previous years, just send an email asking them to do it in a little letter. And I think we might, if somebody can do it or have the time or inclination to want to do that, there's nothing to it. There's no contact or calling. You can just send a letter, and maybe that would help us get membership.
Can you draft the letter for me, Alan, and I'll get a MailChimp ready with the minutes and all the other stuff.
For this? Sure.
Just a quick little.
Oh.
You've sent me them before. Just a letter to send out.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Give us money and we'll go away. And our membership has stayed really super low, guys. So encourage your friends and family to join too. We've talked about this. I'd like everybody to try to bring one new member. Once a month would be awesome, but if you do it, one person in our club brings a new member every month, And Nelson said, I'll cut you guys a promo video for social reels. Awesome, Nelson. Thank you so much. And I did send out the Jerry McNerney birthday party fundraiser. And you may ask, why is somebody that we just elected having a fundraiser? Well, if you've ever run for office, it is super expensive, and he still has debt from running from office. So let's help him out. If anybody can go to the fundraiser, it's a great way to meet other folks, as well as help our senator, our state senator, and talk to him. And he's very approachable. Jerry he is amazingly approachable. And it's in a time where, our elected officials are fearing for their life, and he has always been out there willing to come to all of our meetings, talk to folks about what they need, and he will put everything into a plain language that we all can understand. And there is the fundraiser. Let's see, other announcements. I'm just gonna open this up for other announcement. There was one other community event that I thought you guys would be interested in. There's a community meeting for the Richmond toxic site cleanup. So this is especially important for you all that live in Contra Costa County, close to the refineries. And this is through the Sierra Club. Join the U.S. EPA Sierra Club and partners for the second community meeting in a 6-part series about the United Heckathorn toxic site in Richmond. So these dates are, the series are July 29th, August 27th, and September 24th. I will put these on our calendar to remind you. And there is the invitation for that. And I will send it to all you guys here in the room through email. Is there any, what happened there it is. Do we have any other announcements?
Yeah.
First, I'll start in the room.
Jerry and McCurney. Also, I wanted to get my
Here, why don't you sit in front of the camera, Ellis?
Yeah. Wanted to get my effigy up.
Oh God, that thing's scary.
My daughter got me this in 2016 when we had rallies in downtown Walnut Creek right after Trump was elected, before he was even in office. And I wore this over my head and the suit and all of that. And there were people who hit me and yelled at me, but I also got some hugs. Anyway, I brought him back for the demonstration along with this sign. I don't know if you could see it. No kings, no jokers. But what the announcement I wanted to make is about Jerry McNerney. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. He had a town hall meeting in the Pleasanton Library, and he spoke about a Senate bill, No Robo-Bosses Act. And this morning I read in the paper that it actually passed, and it's a piece of legislation that deals with artificial intelligence making decisions about hiring and firing people, and it requires that a human person makes the final decision, not artificial intelligence. So we won't have these emotionless algorithms doing that for us.
How are
It's
we
passed
looking on
at
time?
the Senate, and it's now in the Assembly. And I'm pretty sure that Rebecca Bauer-Cahan is going to vote for that also. And hopefully Gavin will be in a good mood and sign it. But Joey promised to get AI legislation going, and he's delivered that. So that's my report.
Other announcements, new business? Anyone on the call? Any announcements, new business? Oh, well, this has been quite a month. I think we're all tired. I think we need to pat ourselves on the back, though, and say that we've all been out there working hard. I've seen so many of you all this weekend, and it was really a beautiful thing. Of course, at the same time, horrible things were happening across the state. I don't know if you heard, there was a shooting in, I think, Utah rally where one of the security folks for Indivisible actually ended up shooting somebody. Somebody pulled a long gun on him, and he happened to have a pistol. Ended up killing somebody that was just standing by, right, bystander. So
He
it
was
can be
famous.
dangerous.
Yeah. Sorry, he was famous. He was one of the major, the victim was one of the major makeup artists for RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Well, I would like to, in memory, what's his name, Nelson?
I forgot, but he's Pacific Islander. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get a link right now.
Yeah, we want to remember anybody that is being attacked for political violence. I want people to be careful out there. You know, be aware of your surroundings. Don't engage people that argue with you. There's no point. Of course, that's not going to stop somebody from pointing a gun from 100 yards away and you don't know where they are. That's a whole nother issue in this country.
Sometimes if you're having a gathering, you could tell the police about it to have somebody there, just to check.
Yeah, for instance, when we have our indoor event, it's the city will have staff there. When they do the big events, I'm sure there are police all over the place. But even with police there, it won't stop a gun. It won't. I mean, it will after somebody's dead, but they still get off a few rounds and can kill several people before you can take out a shooter. So be aware of your surroundings. Don't take risks if you don't feel comfortable in a situation, don't be there. If things get too heated, take care of yourself first. And I would like to close tonight in honor of, well, no, I don't know if it's an honor, but because of the political violence, Melissa Hortman and her husband, I would like to close in their honor. Does anybody else have anybody that they would like to acknowledge in closing tonight?
Yes, the shooting victim in Salt Lake City is Arthur Fulasa Alu.
Thank you. And I will get the spelling of that and send it out in the minutes because I know AI won't get that one right. Anything else? We are a few minutes over. Well, thank you again, everybody. Be safe. Hug your family and keep doing the good work. Thank you, guys. Good trouble.